When Payton Thorne made the decision to transfer to Auburn, a lot of people wondered, okay, what does this mean now for Robby Ashford? Robby Ashford then took to Twitter and said, let's work. Iron sharpens iron. And I absolutely loved this response from Robby Ashford. This is a program guy kind of response. A lot of people are going to see this and say, well, he can't transfer anyway, right? Transfer portal window has closed. That's true, but I would just say this. Robby Ashford, he knew somebody was coming into that quarterback room. Heck, all we've done is talk about it since the transfer portal window even opened. They actively went after other guys to get them into that room, and Robby Ashford could have transferred multiple times. Instead, he has decided to stay at Auburn. He has decided to fight for his job. Now, I'd say this too. I wholeheartedly believe that Payton Thorne will be the starting quarterback at Auburn. Game one, Payton Thorne transferred in for a reason. He's going to start at Auburn if you were to ask me. I'll tell you one thing. Robby Ashford don't care. Robby Ashford is staying and going to fight for his job. So I would say this. Robby Ashford's response to Payton Thorne transferring in speaks volumes to his competitive character, and it is exactly what you would want from everybody else in your locker room. You are judged by how you take on adversity, how you meet challenges. And for Robby Ashford, for this to be his attitude to say, all right, I'm here, let's work. I could have transferred out a while ago. I knew somebody else was coming. Payton Thorne, Casey Thompson, didn't matter. I'm here. I'm going to fight for this job. I love that response. And if that permeates throughout the locker room, that's a very good sign for the Auburn Tigers. So where does this leave Robby Ashford right now? Sounds like he's going to compete for his job. How does he go about doing that? What should be his approach? I got some thoughts on this. Auburn fans, make sure you're locked in right here. We talk college football every single day. We're live tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. Hit the bell on the channel so you don't miss when we go live. But also follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, @JDPikel. Great mediums for me to hear from you and also for y'all to stay up with everything going on the show. So we appreciate y'all for that. For Robby Ashford, in this quarterback battle of sorts, to me, it's all about maximizing his strengths and then minimizing on the weaknesses. Sounds simplistic, but what do we mean by that? When it comes to the weaknesses, quote unquote, from Robby Ashford, I don't think it's a matter of ability. Like, I don't question him being able to throw the football effectively. I definitely don't question him being able to run the football effectively. We'll talk about that in a second. But the weakness for him, in my mind, is consistency throwing the football. Because 55% completion percentage, that ain't going to cut it. That's not going to get the job done. That's probably why Payton Thorne transfers to Auburn. That's probably why Auburn went out and got a quarterback, because they need more consistency at that position. And yes, you just want your quarterback to complete passes. Like, no, duh, that's what everybody wants. But the reason why it's so crucial in Auburn's offense, in this run-pass option scheme, so much of it is predicated on you making the right decision to make the defense wrong, if that makes sense. Even more so, a lot of it is setting up the defense. So when we run the ball effectively, when we get 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards, 3 carries in a row, guess what? Those linebackers start to creep up. So what does that mean? It's set up for us to throw the football. We can't miss when we have the defense set up. We have to be consistent. 55% completion percentage, that is not consistent. So for Robby Ashford, you want to make a statement, you want to fight for your job, you want to have a chance to take back what was yours during the spring, be consistent throwing the football. It sounds simplistic, but it is required in this scheme. They're going to run the ball well. Can you be consistent throwing the football? That has to happen for Robby Ashford. The other piece of this, it also sounds simplistic, but there's a reason why they went and got themselves Payton Thorne. Can't give the ball to the other team. Can't do it. Robby Ashford last year put the ball on the ground 9 times, threw it to the other team 7 times. Cannot have that. Ball security is job security. I don't think this requires too much more analysis, but if you want to have a chance for us to trust you as a starting quarterback, don't give the ball away to the other team, because we've got a really good backfield here. Damari Alston, Hunter, we've got some guys that can tote the rock for us. If you don't crash this car, we're going to have a chance. We went out and got some guys through the transfer portal on the offensive line for a reason. We want to run the football. If you give it to the other team, we don't have a shot. And Robby Ashford, too many times a season ago, did that. So consistently through fall camp, I want to see him take care of the football. I don't think that's a stretch. It sounds cliche, but it's cliche for a reason, because it's true. Now, this is the last part of this that I want to see from Robby Ashford, and I want to tread lightly here, because I've never met Robby Ashford, never had a conversation with him. I just know from the outside looking in what I have seen. And what I need to see from my quarterback is some even keel. Give me even keel, Robby Ashford. This is a two-sided coin because all the greats, they got some fire to them. They hate when things go wrong. They do not accept mediocrity. They do not accept mistakes. It's part of being great, right? We see Tom Brady do it. We've seen multiple clips of Peyton Manning mic'd up, yelling at his center. Like, it's just kind of comes with the territory of being great. But for Robby Ashford, too many times last year, I saw things go wrong, and I saw too much negative emotion from our starting quarterback. Listen, man, I had a head coach tell me, or rather I saw a head coach talking to his starting quarterback when I was playing college ball, and he said, listen, there's two coolest hands in the stadium. The first one's me, the second one's you. For Robby Ashford, we got to be the cool hand in the stadium, brother. We can't have this emotional response when we have a fumble or when we throw an interception because everyone's looking to you. Everyone's looking to how you're going to respond when things go awry. And so I want to see a little bit more of an even keel Robby Ashford. You can still have the fire, still have the competitive moxie and have the competitive fire in general, but I need to see the even keel Robby Ashford in order to feel better about you being our starting quarterback. Which there's a lot of people in Auburn, Alabama that I would say transparently hope he is their starting quarterback. A lot of folks in that fan base are pulling for number 9 to be the starter. Again, I think it'll be Payton Thorne, but if you're rooting for Robby Ashford and if you are in the Robby Ashford camp, the number one reason why you stand on the table and make this case is because Robby Ashford, when he runs the football, when he tucks it off that zone read, he is one of the most dynamic players on the field. There are very few players on your roster that can do what Robby Ashford does with the football in his hands. And so for Auburn fans, for this Auburn coaching staff, that is the great ace up the sleeve that you have. Payton Thorne, I think, is a good athlete. I've said it many times. I think he's a quick processor and has other things that make up for what his game lacks in terms of being a dynamic runner of the football. But if you want a dynamic runner of the football, you want somebody that can take it 70 on 3rd and 2, that could be Robby Ashford for you. He's a special talent in that way. There is not many guys that can do what he does when he tucks it and runs. And I would just say this, when you look to the future for Robby Ashford, that's definitely his greatest asset, but he's going to have to be involved in some way, shape, or form going forward. Like he has to have some kind of package on short yardage or a change of pace package or when it comes to goal line. Like you got to have Robby Ashford somehow factored in because of what he does running the football for you. And I'll say this. Payton Thorne, again, I believe will be your starting quarterback. But if you get out there, offensive line isn't holding up how you would want it to, having to maybe get a little bit more mobility from your starting quarterback, Robby Ashford, it could happen quick, folks, because listen, you play at A&M, Georgia, and at LSU your first 3 games of SEC play. If it's not working and just straight up, hey, Payton Thorne, we love what you do throwing the football, but we don't have enough up front to protect you, you could tag Robby Ashford back in there. So for Robby Ashford, again, I just love the fact that he's about this competition. This kind of attitude, this kind of competitive approach, should it be something that seeps into the rest of the Auburn locker room, it's going to be very good things. Tons of strengths, some weaknesses I want to see him improve on, but I'll tell you this, it sounds like he's not going out without a fight. I love that for him, and I love that for Auburn. Make sure you lock in right here to the On3 YouTube channel. We talk college football right here on the Hard Count every single day. We are live in living color tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. Y'all come back and join us. Subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram at JD Pakel to make sure you stay up with everything that we got going on right here. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.